Hey y'all, and welcome to Save the Day with Tara. I am a middle-aged wife living her middle-class life with a budget. It's finally here after a whole week of just procrastination, the January 2024 budget. I am proud of myself and I'm exhausted at the same time. Budgeting is crazy. It really is. When you sit down and if you do things like you're supposed to, it is crazy. It can be stressful until you get the flow of it and you understand your money allocations and things like that. It can be very stressful. Trying to make the pieces work. I think I think it's Saving with Alicia. I'm not sure, but she is a low income budgeter. In one of her videos, she said that she's not going to fret. She's not going to worry about it. She knows it's covered. I think I'm going to take that stance. The money's there, the money's not there. As long as I cover the things that I know have to be covered, I can cover them. I'm fine. I can always make adjustments. This is not supposed to be a process that causes you dire straits. And I'm not going to lie, I made it that way. I was even just dreading doing the whole sinking funds and getting the, what do you call that? The sinking funds. I think that was the biggest thing because I got stuck on the sinking funds, which held up actually doing a January budget. And when I say stuck, I was very ambitious. I'm gonna do that video. I know these are kind of out of orders, but I'll do my sinking fund video for the year. However, I was very ambitious on my goals, and when reality struck as I started putting things together, I was like, "This is not going to happen. I need to set some realistic goals when it comes to these sinking funds." And so I had to go back to the drawing board, and it was crazy. So I'll talk about that in another video, well, in the sinking fund video. But for me, this is my January budget. First things first, I am not sure if I'm going to continue to do this calendar here because it makes sense for individuals who actually have a lot of expenses and bills that come out and they are going to pay them according to their paycheck when they receive it or however they decide to budget, whether it's like monthly or when they actually get their check. It makes more sense for them to map it out. Me, as you see, in all honesty, I have what, four things here. My subscriptions are actually through my credit card. And so because they're through my credit card, even though I save for half a month, look at this. I mean, I pay it when by my credit card due date. Um, and for the most part, all four of these are a month ahead in my checking. So I'm always, the amount you see here is always saving for the next month, because I am a month ahead. And it doesn't quite line up with the payday. If you look at my payday, I am very top heavy before my next payday, and then there's nothing. As a result, it looks like, man, I don't have any money to do anything. To savings challenges, what do you call that? Savings challenges, fund my sinking funds, anything like that. But the reality of it is, for me, is I'm just taking all of my checks and making sure that I still stay a month ahead. That means there's going to be money left in there because these are auto debits. My house account covers, well, the house account covers some other things. Those are a lot of the main house bills that my husband, he's responsible for funding that and paying those. Whereas my biggest thing is the mortgage. So I think going forward, this is just not going to be here. It does not do me it doesn't help me at all to have this unless I throw some other stuff on there, like what I'm supposed to do for the month. Because that to me would be more beneficial since I'm going to be looking at this a lot. It is more beneficial to know, like, on Wednesdays, you have Wild Wacky Wednesday, but you also have appointments. Wednesdays and the weekend are my only days off, except for one Saturday a month. And so I'm doing a lot of errands. So we'll see. This may include a lot of non-financial stuff, only because this is a package, and it just makes more sense for me not to put this stuff on here because it doesn't look right, considering many people that may follow, theirs is going to be different. If this works for you, I'm going to say do this, because you need to know, hey, when your paycheck comes compared to when your bills are due. And that's always good if you have multiple bills and things that are due. Maybe if you're top heavy like I am, or maybe you're bottom heavy, you're able to say, okay, especially being light at the bottom for me, that's how I was able to really get ahead to the next month, because really down here, my money's being put away for the beginning of the next month. And that's how it really works. So even though you see it here, the money from the prior paycheck, which is the one at the end of the month, is actually that one and the first one are covering these bills here. Okay. Hopefully you understand that. Okay. So let's get started. I'm not using anybody's particular charts, paperwork, anything like that. I took a lot of this free stuff off the internet. This, I just Googled templates for a monthly template. And this was the best one. It was blank and I write my own dates in it. Printed out 12 of them. I'm fine. I've already paid for one budget book that's too cute and I don't want to use it. So I'm like, I'm not paying for any other ones. I'm just going to do what works for me. And what works for me is loose leaf paper, being able to move things around back and forth and do that, but also have it off to the side to where I can see it instead of flipping pages back and forth. And that became annoying. And I was like, I don't want to do that. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take this off. January's budget. I hope you guys can see this. I think I'm going to try to come in a little bit. I'm trying to learn how to do this a little bit more. So I'm going to have to remember to move up and down. All right. So this is my monthly budget for January 2024. Just to let you know, I did get this from mapleplanners.com. Okay. Free. So in case you wanted to know. All my income's not listed on here. I am going to be using some other income to help me throughout the year with savings challenges and also sinking funds. What I mean by that is that extra money is to go to my debt repayment. And that's pretty much about it. I noticed that there are not providers, I apologize, guys. There are YouTubers who do that. And I totally understand. You guys, I feel I'm being open enough with my paycheck and this bonus that I'm getting, and that stuff comes out of the house account or my savings. Everything doesn't need to necessarily be disclosed, but I do have some other money that is coming in, and I'm going to use that, but it's not now. It's not going to happen now. So for the month, I have $14,000, 14.5 K to work with. The majority of it's going to come from my paycheck. I have the bonus money. I also have money that's coming from the house account because there's a big expense, and you'll see when I get over here. And also my savings. So that's what I have to spend. So my savings is going to take a drop of $1,600, and I only have like $2,000 in there. So but it's going to $1,400. I think it's going to be replenished. So the other part of it is just on me. Now, the thing about my paycheck is it went down. My pay went down because we redid our, our insurance, and I'm the one that carries the insurance as well. So there's some things behind the scenes that I do. This is stuff you don't see outside for people that work they use their insurance from their company. But our insurance went up. I decided to get a PPO. We have a son that is, I'll say he's out on medical leave. But anyway, because of that, our HMO sucked. I normally never got an HMO, but the only reason I did was because it was cheaper. I was being cheap. I was like, oh, we never use some of this stuff. And lo and behold, 2023 was the year that we needed to use the stuff. So I was like, you know what, back up. I'm going to get that PPO. So that increased my health care. And even though it's taken out pre-tax, it's because of the increase, it still decreased my net pay. And so where I was getting probably about maybe $200 more, I'm not getting that now. And it makes a difference, man. $200 makes a difference. All right, so that's normal. This one stays the same. It stays the same monthly. House account. The house account and the savings. So I'm going to break that down. And I'm going to also inform you guys, this is another reason why I like using loose leaf stuff and printing on one side. So when I made this budget, I had to understand what all am I getting from the house account. Because y'all nosy, I'm going to let y'all know. Because it only makes sense, it makes sense for you to understand what's going on. All right. So for the house account, these are the things that are coming out. That's why it's so much. I get that weekly Friday draw. That's how much it is for the month. There is some groceries that is on my credit card. So before it gets paid, and y'all see that, because I'm not going to bring that up until probably next week, because that's when I have to pay my card, which is the week after that. So there's no sense in going over all that now. But this is what's going to come out. I have this is for my certification that I'm taking. So my husband's going to pay the first part of it, and then my savings is paying the rest of it, which you see down here. However, it is going to be replenished because my husband's paying the first part of the first semester. So then once you come down here for the savings, this is what's coming out. And then there is also just the hotel. So, it's something I had to pay for, did a little something special. And it was like, okay, it was on my card. Well, it's just going to come out of my savings. That's it. That's where it was. I didn't budget for it. That's where it's going to come out. So if anything that I do that's off of the budget, I have a little cushion that doesn't need to come out of a sinking fund. So it's either going to come out of the savings account or it's going to come out of the checking account because I have a little cushion. All right. So my expenses pretty much the same. My mortgage, my artwork, and my cell phone. I have all my subscriptions that end up on the Southwest card. So even though they come out at the beginning of the month, I don't have to pay them until right before the bill is due because that's, it's on the card. And this is my normal cash envelopes down here. Let me bring that down some. Okay, so these are my normal cash envelopes. Of course, the food bank and the tolls. I've taken over the tolls and being responsible for those because the tolls are apparently a luxury. Because I can take the back roads to work, even though the snow is starting to come down in January, and I'm definitely scared of snow up here, but it's okay. I will pay for those tolls, Mimi. I will do that. But I don't mind. I don't mind. Honestly, guys, I don't mind. So this is the stuff, anything in yellow, as you see. Yellow refers to the house account, okay? Is whether the house account covers it or is being paid for by the house account or drawn down. All right, so then up here, the debt. This is where we start getting into my new year, new me stuff. And I am actually going to be working on the debt and my sinking funds, okay? So my student loan, I plan to take out and save this much this month. That's in addition to the payment. Now, my student loan payment does come out of the house account. My monthly payment comes out of the house account. And so that's just something me and my husband worked out. Synchrony. I want to have that paid off by the end of the year. So I am saving an extra $120 this month. My Southwest, that's the savings. And then the education, I did that separately just because I'm trying to keep that separate so that at the end of the year, I doubt we're going to get to take it off on our taxes, but hey, you never know. Things change with the tax code sometimes. Okay, so that is my debt. This is all the debt I have for this month that I am going to be either paying off, because this is on my credit card. That's on the Southwest card, the education. So I'm either going to be paying off or saving or putting away to be paid on later. Okay. And I understand this should probably be a sinking fund, but you know what? We're going to put it here. How's that? Okay, so then the next thing is my sinking funds. Okay, so I have a savings sinking fund, and this is just a replenishment of what I'm from the house account of what I'm having to pay off for the education piece. And so it's just a replenishment in and out. The thing about it is because of how my husband is paid, I couldn't draw it all down at one time. That's why there's this amount, which will be drawn down at the end of the month. So now we're going to start getting into our sinking funds. And I will explain those later in another video, all of them. But for right now, I have the pool service that I have to save for because this is due pretty soon. My HOA and condo fees, I save $150 a month. Education, that's a new one, so I'll explain that later, but it's for the rest of the certification, saving up for that. Valentine's Day, because it's very important to me, and it's next month. And this ain't even the amount I'm supposed to be saving each month, so I'm happy but not happy. That's all I'm gonna say. And my emergency fund, I need to build my emergency fund up to $6,000. I have enough so far for 5 months, and I should at least have six. And this is a 2-year quest for me. It's not going to be, I'm going to do this all in 1 year because, like I said, my goal this year is to pay this debt off. All right. So 3,200 of my income this month is going to go towards my sinking funds. That's the goal. All this is the goal. Okay. Just remember that all of this is the goal. And then we have my savings. So my savings, I have decided to, until I get some of this stuff, because I am very top heavy at the first part of the year with these sinking funds, the have tos. I probably won't be saving like I thought I would be. Once again, my goals were very ambitious, but budgets, everything when it comes to money is fluid. You know, your budget is fluid and your money is fungible. So I'm having to work with and reallocate some funds to accomplish the goal. And my biggest goal is to pay off that student loan debt. And I'm fine with that. The reason why I have the 100 envelope challenge on here that I'm saving for is because the money for the 100 envelope challenge is most definitely designated for the student loan at the end of the year. My goal is to do this challenge twice this year. And the reason is, instead of saving that, is because, one, I just want to have fun saving. Sometimes it's so boring just sticking stuff in an envelope. I want to have a little fun with it. And then I have, to make this a zero base or a zero balanced budget, I have $81.68 that I'm going to do something with. I don't know what I'm going to do with, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in here is going to happen. It says for savings, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so when I get done with all that, everything's accounted for down here, down to zero. Y'all see this scratching and all that whiting out and stuff? I told y'all this was crazy. When you actually sit down and you do stuff, I made some mistakes. I had to go back, re-add some stuff, look at some things, make some adjustments. That's just what this budget is. That's what budgeting is, guys. It is not a pretty process sometimes. You really have to take a look at the money you're making, what's possibly going to come in, what bills are like. And sometimes they fluctuate. Like, for example, my cell phone bill, I am saving for the higher amount that occurred last month than the normal amount that normally occurs. So, you know, just to cover it in case. So, all right, that is my budget, guys, for this month. And let me just do my January real quick, because the next video, we're just going to do our stuffing. All right. Well, not January. I apologize. My first week's budget. So this is my first paycheck budget of January. Well, this is my first paycheck budget allocation for 2024. I'm going by paycheck so I can keep up with them. For this particular paycheck, I decided to be very top heavy on my sinking funds. Okay. So it's just my paycheck and the house account. The house account covers the cash envelopes. Okay. I'm not doing any giving nor the tolls yet. When I looked at my tolls, I receive a monthly, what do you call that? I receive a monthly statement. I still have $60 in the account as of the end of December. So, and it does not replenish until it gets to $30. I have enough to make it to the second paycheck because the tolls aren't that high. I have enough to make it to the second paycheck before I'm going to have to actually pay the card, because it goes straight to my card, before I have to pay on the card, which is $100. And I still have the $50 from last month. So once again, that's one of those things that just stacks on and stacks on. Okay. All right. So I'm good there. So no, there is no giving. There is no toes. And I'm really, really not happy about the no giving, because I went to Walmart today with all my errands to find out they had some ham that was 50 cents a pound. So they had these hams that were, okay, like I said, 50 cents a pound. And so less than $5. And when you go, come on now, you count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I could have at least gotten 9, because they charge tax up here on food, which I hate. But I could have at least gotten 9 and dropped it off at the food bank. And so 9 people would have had some ham. And I was like, man, good, nice butt ham. I was like, man, but it's okay. It's all right. There's gonna be another deal going on at the end of the month, because I always try to look for a deal to feed my community. All right, so there we have it. Normal stuff, the mortgage and stuff. I do half of everything since I get paid bi-weekly, so twice. Let's do this. Okay, so twice a month, or sometimes 3, which we'll talk about that in my sinking fund video. And I just divide it by 2. Everything from the beginning, from the monthly budget, I just divide it by 2. Now, what I am focusing on, which you'll see in this, what I am focusing on in this budget is, like I said, my debt. My goal is $620 a paycheck. Always $620 a paycheck, because I have a goal set, and that's the goal. I pray I can do that goal every paycheck. So then we have the synchrony, same thing. All right. So what I decided to pay this month, as you remember, on the and you'll see why in the other video. I apologize to keep referencing. I'm gonna have to actually then attach it to this one, but because these are due early on in the year, the pool service, the HOA, education emergency, and Valentine's Day. Well, I have nothing. At first, I was going to give to the pool service, but I was like, education is more important. So, and the condo fees, nothing's going in there as well. This first paycheck, education, emergency, and Valentine's Day. I got off down here, and so I just decided, oh, cool. I'm going to add an extra dollar to Valentine's Day. So I'm so happy about that. Emergency fund. Okay. That is I only put for this month. So I was wrong in my budget about that. This is going to be crazy. We'll see how it ends up at the end of the month. But for the emergency fund, it's supposed to be $116 a paycheck. I put $116 for the month on my December budget. So we'll see. If I have $116 somewhere that I can put into the emergency fund, I will. If not, I'm just going to be a paycheck short. All right. And then the education. So these are $331 is going to go to my sinking fund. I split the envelope challenge into 2. And so I have 120 that's going to be this pay period, and then 120 my next pay period. And then 20 cents, only because, when you divide it into some of these numbers, they come out to be, the cents. I could round up, round down. I'm not going to, because I already didn't have a lot of money to begin with. So I will take 20 cents and I literally will put it in change thing, which I already have. So once again, for actual, this paycheck, 0. And I'm going to be, what's going to stay in the account is going to be the $2,100 for the expenses here. My cash envelope, I'm going to stuff that. So that's what I have for my weekly that I get to spend. This is for my debt, and this is for my sinking fund. And then I'm going to be doing this. So I don't think, guys, I'm going to be able to do any savings challenge, no wacky Wednesdays this month. We'll see. But hey, whatever. The goal, once again, is this is to get my student loan down. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm totally fine. I have no problems. And that's it. All right, guys, look, let me tell you what. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, and save the day. I'll see you in my sinking funds video.